Good morning, students. Today, our topic, the third colligative property, is depression of freezing point. So, the third one is depression of freezing point. Before learning about the depression of freezing point, first of all, we have to know that definition of freezing point. The definition of freezing point, the temperature at which the vapor pressure of a substance in liquid phase is equal to its vapor pressure in solid phase. That temperature is called its freezing point. For example, I am taking one substance. That substance in both phases. So here I am taking solid phase and liquid phase. So this is the liquid phase and this one is solid phase. In both phases we have vapor pressure. The temperature at which vapor pressure of a substance in liquid phase is equal to its vapor pressure in solid phase. That temperature is called freezing point. In liquid phase and in solid phase, in both the phases, the vapor pressure should be equal. So the freezing point definition, the temperature at which the vapor pressure of a substance in liquid phase is equal to its vapor pressure in solid phase. That temperature is called its freezing point. And the freezing point of solvent. Freezing point of solvent represented by T naught F. Naught stand for pure. And the freezing point of solution is represented by TF. Then here the TF is less than T naught F. Freezing point of solution is less than the freezing point of pure solvent. It is pure opposite to that elevation in boiling point. If you see that second colligative property is elevation of boiling point, the boiling point of solution is greater than the boiling point of pure solvent. But in third colligative properties, means in depression of freezing point, the solution freezing point is less than the pure solvent freezing point. Let me take a plot between the temperature and vapor pressure. So this is the plot between vapor pressure and temperature. On y-axis we are taking the vapor pressure in atmospheric pressure, and on x-axis we are taking the temperature in Kelvin. So here let me take a solid phase. So this is the solid phase. And right side of that solid phase means that line. Right side of that line we have liquid phase. This is the point of pure solvent in liquid phase, and this is the point of solution. It is a liquid pure solvent. and it is a liquid phase of solution. So here the pure solvent vapor pressure is greater than that solution vapor pressure. So this is the vapor pressure of pure solvent and this is the vapor pressure of solution. If these 2 points means the liquids reach the solid line, then the liquids will be converted into solid. If I decrease the temperature, that liquids become solids. So here I decrease the temperature of pure solvent liquid. Decrease the temperature means we have to go towards left side. At one point, the liquid pure solvent become solid. At this point, means at this temperature, the liquid pure liquid solvent become solid. If I decrease the temperature of liquid solution, then the liquid become solid. So I decrease the temperature, then it reach the solid line. At this point, that liquid solution become solid. So here these two liquids become solid, and this is the point of temperature where that liquid pure solvent become solid, and this is the point of temperature where the temperature liquid solution become solid. So this is the temperature where liquid pure solvent become solid, and this is the temperature where the liquid solution become solid, and this is the temperature. At this temperature, the vapor pressure in liquid phase become equal to vapor pressure in solid phase of pure solvent. So the temperature is called freezing point of solvent. So that freezing point of solvent represented by T0 F. And at this temperature, the vapor pressure in liquid phase become equal to vapor pressure in solid phase of solution, and that temperature is called freezing point of solution, and that freezing point of solution is represented by TF. And here that T0 F is greater than TF, or TF is less than T0 F. So the freezing point of solution is less than the freezing point of pure solvent. So the solution freeze at lower temperature than the pure solvent, and the difference between the freezing point of pure solvent and freezing point of solution is called depression in freezing point. So the difference between these two freezing point represented by delta TF. The decrease in freezing point is called depression of freezing point. So delta TF is equal to, this is the higher value and this one is lower value. So T0 F minus TF. This is called depression of freezing point. Means the freezing point of pure solvent is greater than the freezing point of solution. So this is the freezing point of pure solvent. If I add non-volatile solute to that pure solvent, then we are getting the solution. then the solution freezing point will be decreases. So the decrease in freezing point is called depression of freezing point. For example, the pure solvent freezing point is 15 units. After adding solute to the solvent, then we are getting the solution. That solution freezing point is 10 units. So the difference in freezing point is delta Tf is equal to T naught F minus Tf, means 15 minus 10. So the decrease in freezing point is 5 units. And it is pure opposite to that second colligative properties. So this is the second colligative properties, elevation of boiling point, means increase in boiling point. So here this is the boiling point of a pure solvent. After adding a non-volatile solute to that solvent, then we are getting the solution, and that solution boiling point will be increases, and this is the boiling point of solution. So here the boiling point of solution is greater than the boiling point of pure. So here increased in boiling point after adding the solute to the solvent. Pure solvent boiling point is 10 units and the solution boiling point units is 15. So Tb minus T naught B, 15 minus 10 is equal to 5 units. Means after adding the solute to the solvent, the increase in boiling point is 5 units. And it is pure opposite to that third colligative properties, depression of freezing point. So in that depression of freezing point, the pure solvent freezing point is greater than the solution freezing point. The solution freezing point is less than the pure solvent freezing point. Means here 5 units decreased after adding the solute to the solvent. So the decrease in freezing point is called depression of freezing point. So delta Tf is equal to T naught F minus Tf. For elevation of boiling point, delta Tb is equal to Tb minus T naught B. So here T naught F minus Tf and here Tb minus T naught B. This is for depression of freezing point and this is for elevation of boiling point. Let me take some examples. We know that at 0 degrees Celsius or 273.15 Kelvin, the pure liquid water, and solid water having same vapor pressure. So we can call this temperature is a freezing point of water at 0 degrees centigrade. The vapor pressure in liquid water and in solid water will be same after adding non-volatile solute. Non-volatile. For example, I am taking sucrose. This is the non-volatile solute. I add this non-volatile solute to the water, pure solvent water. The freezing point of solution decreases, means the water will not be freeze at 0 degrees centigrade. The freezing point will be decreased and it decreases to minus 0.68 degree centigrade or 272.47 Kelvin. At this temperature, the liquid solution and solid solution having same vapor pressure. So that pure water, so this is the pure water, that pure water freeze at 0 degree centigrade. Means at this 0 degree centigrade, the liquid water and solid water having same vapor pressure. If I add solute sucrose, then we are getting the solution. So that solution will not be freeze at 0 degree centigrade. The freezing point will be decreases. So that solution freeze at minus 0.68 degree centigrade. At this temperature, the solution will be freeze. And here for dilute solutions, the depression of freezing point delta TF is directly proportional to the molal concentration. Directly proportional to the molal concentration. So delta TF is directly proportional to M, or we can write by taking the proportionality constant, delta TF is equal to Kf into M. So here that M is a molality, and Kf is equal to freezing point depression constant, or molar depression constant, or cryoscopic constant. And the units of cryoscopic constant, Kelvin, kg per mole. For elevation of boiling point, we are taken delta TB is directly proportional to M. Means delta TB is equal to Kb into M. And here in this depression of freezing point, delta TF is directly proportional to M, and delta TF is equal to Kf into M. So here M is equal to molality and Kf is equal to cryoscopic constant. In elevation of boiling point, we are taking that Kb. So that Kb is a abelioscopic constant. In this depression of freezing point, Kf is a cryoscopic constant. And in this, if solute weight, the solute weight is W2 and molar mass is M2, dissolved in W1 gram of solvent. Then the solution molality M is equal to W2 by M2 divided by W1 by 1000, or we can write 1000 into W2 by W1 into M2. And from that above equation, delta TF is equal to Kf into M is equal to this one into 1000 into W2 divided by W1 into M2. So delta TF is equal to Kf into 1000 into W2 by W1 into M2. And here delta TF is equal to depression of freezing point, and Kf is equal to cryoscopic constant, and W2 is equal to solute weight, W1 is equal to solvent weight, and M2 is equal to solute molar mass. And here we can find out that constant of depression of freezing point and constant of elevation of boiling point. elevation of boiling point delta TB is equal to TB minus T naught B, and depression of freezing point delta TF is equal to T naught F minus TF. Delta TB is equal to MKB, and delta TF is equal to MKF. So we can write KB is equal to delta TB by M, means delta TB by M. And here also we can write that constant Kf is equal to delta Tf by M. So here these are the constants. So the constants is equal to delta T by M, delta T by M. So delta T by M. Delta T means temperature. So the temperature in Kelvin divided by, and M is the molality, means molal, that molal concentration, moles per kg. So then we can write Kelvin and kg and per mole. So the units for kb and kf, the units are Kelvin, kg, per mole. And here the thermodynamics applications, kb is equal to R TB square by 1000 into LV. So here LV is equal to delta H vapor by M in solution. Kf is equal to R TF square divided by 1000 into LF, and here LF is equal to delta H fusion divided by M in solution, and here R is the gas constant and TB is the boiling point of pure solvent, and LV is the latent heat of vaporization. So in this formula, Kf is the freezing point and LF is the latent heat of fusion, and R is the gas constant. So this is about depression of freezing point. Now the last one is osmosis and osmotic pressure. And here we have to know what is the semi-permeable membrane. A layer which is allow the small or micro molecules or particles to pass through it is called semi-permeable membrane. And it is a porous membrane, means it having small holes. So the semi-permeable membranes, biological membrane or synthetic membrane or polymeric membrane. For example, if I take one beaker and middle of that beaker I am taking semi-permeable membrane. It having small holes. and two sides of that semi-permeable membrane I am taking the solution, left side and right side. Both side I am taking the solution. So this is the layer. The definition is a layer which is allow the small or micromolecules or particles to pass through it is called semi-permeable membrane. So it having a small holes and it allow the particles pass through it. It allow the particles pass through it. So it is called semi-permeable membrane. So it is a porous membrane, means it having a small holes, and it is a biological membrane or synthetic membrane or polymeric membrane. For example, the egg albumin is used as a semi-permeable membrane. That egg albumin having small holes. Now come to the osmosis. The definition of osmosis: the flow of solvent particles through a semi-permeable membrane from lower concentration area to higher concentration area is called osmosis. Let me take one diagram. Here I am taking one beaker, and middle of that beaker I am taking semi-permeable membrane which is contain small holes, and both side, left side and right side, I am taking the same solution. Here the level of solution is same in both side. The left side solution is a low concentration solution because in that solution we have a less number of solute particles, and here that blue dots shows the solvent and red dots shows the solute particles. And left side solution is a low concentration solution because in that we have less number of solute particles, and right side solution is a high concentration solution because in that solution we have more number of solute particles. Here the osmosis will occur. So the definition of osmosis is the flow of solvent particles. This blue dots shows the solvent particles. The flow of solvent particles through the semi-permeable membrane from low concentration area to high concentration area is called osmosis. So here that solvent particles flow from low concentration area to high concentration area. So this is the high concentration area and this one is the low concentration area. So the solvent particles flow from low concentration area to high concentration area through the semi-permeable membrane. That semi-permeable membrane having the small holes. Through that small holes, solvent particles flow from lower concentration area to higher concentration area. That solute particles are did not flow from lower concentration area to higher concentration area or higher concentration area to lower concentration area because that solute particles size is big, but the semi-permeable membrane having small holes. Only the solvent particles flow from lower concentration area to higher concentration area, and this phenomenon is known as osmosis. During the osmosis, the high concentration solution level will increase because the solvent particles flow from lower concentration area to higher concentration area. So here the level of low concentration area solution will decrease. And the level of higher concentration area solution will increase, because more number of solvent particles flow from lower concentration area to higher concentration area. So at right side, the solvent particles will increase. At left side, the solvent particles will be decreased. But the number of solute particles will not change in both sides, left side and right side. So here at left side we have only 4 solute particles. There is no change in number of solute particles after osmosis. And at right side also there is no change in solute particles. So here 12 particles and here also 12 solute particles. So the flow of solvent particles through a semi-permeable membrane from lower concentration area to higher concentration area is known as osmosis. Next one, osmotic pressure. The flow of solvent is in continue. The pressure applied on the solution to stop the flow of solvent particles through the semi-permeable membrane is called osmotic pressure. Let me take one diagram to explain. This is the U-shaped container. In the middle of that U-shaped container, we are taking the SPM, semi-permeable membrane, and left side we are taking the solution which is low concentration, because in that solution we have less number of solute particles. And right side we are taking the solution which is high concentration, because in that solution we have more number of solute particles. P is the atmospheric pressure applied, and here the solvent particles flow from low concentration area to high concentration area through the semi-permeable membrane, and this phenomenon is called osmosis. The flow of solvent is in continue. Continuously, the solvent particles flow from low concentration area to high concentration area. So here we have to stop the flow of solvent particles from low concentration area to high concentration. To stop that flow of solvent particles, we have to apply the pressure on the solution. That pressure is called osmotic pressure. So this is the osmotic pressure. And here the atmospheric pressure common. We have to apply additional pressure. That additional pressure is represented by pi. That additional pressure is called osmotic pressure. So the flow of solvent is in continue. The pressure applied on the solution to stop the flow of solvent particles through semi-permeable membrane is called osmotic pressure. So here we have to apply additional pressure. That additional pressure is called osmotic pressure to stop the flow of solvent particles from lower concentration area to higher concentration area through the semi-permeable membrane. And here the osmotic pressure is related to the ideal gas equation. We know that ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT. So here instead of P we can use pi, osmotic pressure. So we can write that equation pi V is equal to nRT. Pi is equal to N by V. This V comes to here, N by V RT. And pi is equal to N by V. Moles per volume is a concentration or molarity. So here, because of N by V is equal to M, molarity or concentration. So instead of N by V, we can write M or C. So pi N by V is equal to M or C. I am taking C, concentration, and R and T. So pi is equal to C or T. And here pi is equal to osmotic pressure and C is the concentration and R is the gas constant and T is the temperature. The relationship between osmotic pressure and concentration. Osmotic pressure is directly proportional to concentration. So at a given temperature, the osmotic pressure is directly proportional to the concentration of solution. From that above equation, pi V is equal to nRT. So pi V is equal to N means number of moles. Moles means N is equal to weight by molecular weight. N means the moles. Moles nothing but weight by molecular weight. Weight by molecular weight. So this is for solute because the concentration decided by only the number of solute particles. So here W2 by M2 into RT. N is equal to W2 by M2, weight by molecular weight of solute. So if osmotic pressure is given, we can find out that molecular weight of solute. So we can write that formula M2 is equal to W2 RT by pi V. So here in this formula, M2 is the molar mass of solute and W2 is the solute weight and R is the gas constant, T is the temperature and pi is the osmotic pressure and V is the volume. So this is about osmosis and osmotic pressure.